G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to DCS World with Mags, and after many requests, welcome aboard the AJS-37 Viggen. So, today what we're going to do is a very basic cold start of the aircraft, and then we're going to taxi out to takeoff. While we're taxiing, we're going to have a little bit of a talk about the aircraft. But anyways, as you can see, we're taking off in a storm, so first things first, we're going to turn on our flashlight so we can actually see what's going on in the cockpit. This will also work fairly well for highlighting the different components. So, the first thing we do, down here to the left, just behind the seat, we have the data card slot, or data cartridge slot. We're going to insert the data cartridge. We'll come back to why that's important in a moment, but that is the first step. Now, starting the Viggen is fairly simple. We have a couple of switches in front of the throttle. Most of it is done here. So first we're going to hit the large lever. This will close the cockpit, and then we have two switches at the front. One is main power, one is low pressure fuel. Turn on both of those. And with the cockpit closed, now we're going to hit the high pressure fuel switch, throttle forward and back just to make sure it is centered, and hit the switch just to the left hand side in front of the throttle, and that will start the engines. And we should probably hit the master caution as well, otherwise that's going to beep and be annoying. So, just looking to the gauges to the right hand side of the cockpit, and we're waiting for the engine to spool up. We'll be able to see it both on the gauges and hear it, obviously. And as it spools up one by one, our warning lights are going to start flicking out on the little panel just to the lower right. Here we go. Alright, so now one thing to note about the Viggen, or at least as far as I've been able to find so far, and it surprised me jumping into it the first time, is the gauges in the cockpit don't appear to be backlit. At least I can't find a switch for them or any way to actually light them up. So learning the shortcut for the torch is actually kind of important. And it looks like we're all good. Engine is running, so just turning a little bit down to the right here, and just looking at this warning panel at the moment. Nope, we seem to be fine. Anyway, this switch on the right hand side turns on the oxygen, and then we want to go back over in front of the throttle, and to the right hand side of the engine start switch we have the generator start switch. So we hit that one there, and as we do, the warning lights on the warning panel should start flicking out one after the other, and that will have us pretty much ready to fly in terms of the aircraft. From there, we've just got to quickly deal with the navigational computer. And there we go, instrumentation powering up. And that's one warning light out. We should have the second. There we go. There's the second one. Alright. So next up we have to deal with the navigational computer. So first things first, we want to turn the dial around to Ref Lola. And we're after 9099. Oh, oops, hang on. Switch above the keypad to input first. Then we want to enter 9099. And then we'll want to use the LS SKU button down here on the right hand side, and that will start loading all of the information from the data cartridge that we inserted at the start of the startup process into the flight computer of the aircraft. And from there we just flick through to Act Pause mode and switch the key above the keypad from input mode back to output mode. This is one of the best parts about the Viggen. There is no need to actually program all of your mission flight data into the flight computer. It's all on the cartridge that you start the mission with, and you can simply upload it and you're ready to rock and roll. So before we taxi out, we are going to get a couple of systems ready. We're going to switch the master mode switch from nav through to A and F, and we're going to center our roll trim. Roll trim needs to be done during the startup, however you can play with the master mode switches in flight if you wish. Checking to the left hand side to make sure the AFK lever is in the upright position, and then hit the lever on the ejection seat to arm the ejection system. And at this point, the Viggen is pretty much ready to rock and roll. Now I just want to stress here that this is only one of a handful of times that I've actually fired the aircraft up. This is just to give you guys a look at how it's done. Don't take this as a tutorial at all. Yeah, I don't think anything needs to be played with down there. I'm pretty sure everything else is in order. Actually, just thinking about it, the master mode switch, I've got it in A and F mode, but that's for weapons deployment. I should probably have it in SPA mode for reconnaissance, because that's what I will be doing in the mission that I will be flying out after takeoff. No matter. Anyways, that is pretty much it, so let's get this thing rolling. Alright, so first things first, let's get clearance to taxi out.
Request taxi to runway.
Verting. There we go. Alright, so taxiing the Viggen is actually very, very, very easy. The aircraft handles incredibly well while it's on the ground. You can tell it's got a fairly powerful engine. It does tend to creep a little bit. You will have to watch your speed and work the brakes to make sure you don't, well, start accelerating to takeoff speeds while you're rolling around. The thing wants to go fast. It does not want to cruise slow. Providing you're careful in the corners, it doesn't really ever feel like it wants to tip over, which is rather nice. It has braking both wheels. I have them bound to the left and right toe brakes on the rudder pedals, although providing you're careful with your speed and in your corners, you can get away with just having them bound to a single button easy. So while we taxi out, let's have a little bit of a chat about the Saab AJS-37 Viggen. So the Viggen is a supersonic single-seat attack aircraft designed for high performance at extremely low altitudes. Entering service with the Swedish Air Force in 1971 and remaining in service until 2005, it was one of the first Delta Canard designed aircraft, and with its RM-8A afterburning turbofan engine, one of the most powerful aircraft of its time. It's also one of the most effective STOL jet fighter aircraft ever built, that's short takeoff and landing. The AJS prefix for the aircraft's name signifies the role of the aircraft in descending order of capability. So A signifies the primary role of attack, J signifies fighter capability, and S is for reconnaissance. However, while the aircraft is capable of air-to-air combat, the Viggen is not really designed for it. While both powerful and manoeuvrable, especially at low altitudes, the Viggen is only capable of carrying short-range air-to-air missiles, and coupled with a rather basic air-to-air radar mode, the Viggen's air-to-air capabilities are best used only in self-defense. That being said, the aircraft's attack and reconnaissance capabilities are truly fantastic and the primary focus of the aircraft type. As you can imagine, with a 34-year-long service life, the Viggen went through a number of updates in its time. The version we see here in DCS was one of the last updates, taking place in the 90s. The updates included an overhaul of the existing avionics as well as the addition of new avionics and systems in order to facilitate the usage of modern weapon systems.
Request takeoff.
And just requesting permission to get this thing off the ground. There we go. So, just taxiing out on the runway, we line it up in the center as an STOL aircraft. I'm really only showing the takeoff because, well, I know you guys would want to see it. In all honesty, this thing is so easy to get off the ground. Once you're lined up for takeoff, just push the throttles through to maximum. Once you pass about 250 kilometers an hour, gently pull back on the stick, not too hard, and the aircraft will just peel away from the runway all on its own. Honestly, I think that's one of the best things about the Viggen. It is so easy to learn. The startup is extremely simple. Flying it is extremely simple. It is easy to taxi, taking off is simple, and it's very forgiving on landings. In my opinion, this is a full fidelity module that would be fantastic as a first full fidelity for a new DCS pilot. So, anyways, it's time to get this thing rolling down the runway and into the sky. Now, there will be another video on the channel for the Viggen in the next few days showing the actual mission that I'm about to go out and fly. The only reason I'm not uploading it right after this start is because, well, the mission itself took over 2 hours to complete, so it's going to require a hell of a lot of editing to get it down to an upload-friendly size. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. Remember to click that like button and subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, fly smart, fly safe, and I will catch you in the skies.